This is Regis program, and you're tuning into True School Sports.
It's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, last year when I was in San Antonio, Texas for the Zurdo Ramirez Yuniesque Gonzalez fight, I stated that fight week, the week of that fight week, that Bivol versus Zurdo was the best fight in boxing. Now, when you consider all the fights that we're not getting this year, obviously Crawford Spence, Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia, all that stuff, sounds like I was right. Sounds like I prophesized, as you guys saw in the beginning of the video. Now, I also said in the beginning of the video that after that fight with Yuniesque Gonzalez, I felt like Zurdo was ready for Bivol, right? And I wanted to consider this my last thoughts on Bivol versus Zurdo going into the fight in my breakdown. Now, we got Dmitry Bivol, who, in my estimation, is the most pure technical fighter in the world today. He's arguably one of the best offensive fighters, and he's probably the best defensive fighter in the sport right now. He's really the hardest guy in the sport to hit flush. You know what I'm saying? Transitions from offense to defense exceptionally. Transitions from defense to offense exceptionally. He's just a great boxer all the way around the board. And those words of Pernell Whitaker all those years ago about him potentially being the pound-for-pound #1 best fighter in boxing look like they're on the way to being prophesized and coming true. Now, he's taking on Gilberto Ramirez, a fighter who I truly believe is a much tougher challenge than this guy on my shirt. You guys know I'm wearing this shirt, Canelo exposed by Bivol, I think Zurdo, as you can see by the jab being put down Canelo's throat upside his head, I think Zurdo is a much more tougher challenge at 175 than Canelo is, with all due respect to Canelo Alvarez. He's just not like that at 175. And now, with that being said, and with that being established here on True School Sports, I think what Bivol has going in his favor is the fact that, obviously, foot speed and footwork-wise, he has that going for him. He has the fact that I think, he's kind of like, Bivol is kind of like the Sandy Alcantara of boxing. For those that don't know, Sandy Alcantara is the best pitcher in the world, and he plays for none other than my favorite baseball team, the Miami Marlins. He's the best pitcher in the world. And what makes Sandy so great at pitching is the fact that Sandy has different velocity with his pitches. Like he may throw you a 100 mile per hour fastball, or he might hit you with the 90 mile per hour changeup, or he might hit you with the 88 mile per hour slider. He's got different types of pitches to always keep the batters on their heels. They never really know what's coming, so they got to guess. And I would liken the same thing to Dmitry Bivol with his footwork. He's able to set a lot of traps going backwards, sometimes going forwards. With his creative feints, he's got different types of feints. I would argue that no fighter in boxing has better feints than Bivol. So this allows him to neutralize fighters' movements and create openings that way. And then on top of that, he's very good at changing the speed of his punches. So when you add all these things up, he becomes a very hard guy to hit, but a very hard guy to defend against. All right? So I think he has all these things going on his favor. As far as what he has to work through in this fight, the way I see it, he's got about 3 things to work through in this fight with Zurdo. The first thing he has to work through is the fact that he's never really fought a southpaw at the elite championship level. So whenever you fight a southpaw, their right foot is their lead foot. Bivol's lead foot will be his left foot. So obviously, there always presents that opportunity for the legs to get tangled. And it normally takes a couple of rounds for an orthodox and a southpaw fighter to get the positioning and feel comfortable in there. So he's going to have to work through that. That's number one. The next thing he's had to work through the fact is that Zurdo is probably going to rehydrate on fight night to 200 plus pounds. He's going to be a big, gargantuan gargoyle of a man come fight night. So that I feel like that the size advantage can really play a factor in this fight in the middle rounds and in the later rounds. Also, the third thing I think he has to work through is the fact that Zurdo is not this one-dimensional, flat-footed fighter like people think. Like I went back and I just spent the last hour and a half rewatching highlights and fights from both of these guys' careers, key fights. I rewatched Bivol versus Cedric Agnew and John Pascal and Joe Smith. Those are like the three fights I watched. Then for Zurdo, I watched Maxime Vlasov, Jesse Hart 1 and 2, and then his last fight with Yuniesky Gonzalez. And the one thing that I noticed in watching Zurdo is that Zurdo has evolved so much from a footwork standpoint. I mean, he does things now he never did when he was champion at 168. And I think you could credit that all the way down to his trainer, Julian Chua, who's making a great name for himself as a trainer in the sport. Like, he just does, it's just subtle things. Like, he'll be on the ropes, he'll tie you up, he'll spin you around. Like, he wasn't doing things like that early in his career, but like he did that a couple times against Yuniesky Gonzalez, where Gonzalez would press him, he would tie Yuniesky up, and then he would spin around him and then get his shots off. So there's that, the pivots. He's dipping at the waist. Like before he dropped, I think it was Sullivan Barrera, Zurdo dipped down here and kind of used the right hand as a shield, and then came up and then threw a left hand to the liver. So the fact that Zurdo is an evolving fighter, he's matured his style, footwork wise. He's taken the things that made him champion at 68 and got him to this point, being that seek and destroy fighter. But now he's added a little bit more finesse and craft to his game, and he's mixed it up, and he's a much different fighter now. And he's a very dangerous fighter. And I think Bivol is going to have to be very cognizant when he gets into mid-range and on the inside, because Zurdo has improved exponentially at pivoting and just little tricks. He has these little tricks. And on top of that, now that he has these things, it sets him up for what he does best, which is the fact that Zurdo, I truly believe, is one of the most educated body punchers and one of the most lethal body punchers in our sport. I mean, the guy has mastered the art of landing the liver shot. Ask Jesse Hart, ask Sullivan Barrera, ask many fighters. This guy can land a liver shot, so Bivol is gonna have to be careful in there with him. And I just don't see this as, I don't see Zurdo as the stereotypical Mexican fighter, but he is at a disadvantage when it comes to foot speed and footwork with Bivol, but he has things that I believe could offset that. But I think those are the things that Bivol has to work through in fighting Zurdo. Okay, now what Zurdo is going to have to work through with Bivol is he's going to have to actually press a guy that, if we look at CompuBox, I saw a stat on Twitter. Bivol has not been outlanded on, according to CompuBox, he has not been outlanded in any round for like 5 years. So he's a hard guy to make rounds competitive with, let alone beat him. He's got to work through the footwork. He's got to work through the foot speed. He's going to have to work through the feints, because that's what allowed Bivol to beat Canelo and has allowed Bivol to beat a lot of fighters with ease is the feints, because it offsets the opponent's movements, and it doesn't allow them to throw a punch when they want to. So most fighters, they just feint with their chest or their body. He can feint with his feet. He can feint with his shoulders. He's very, very clever about setting traps going backwards. So Zurdo has to be very, very cognizant of these things, because if he's not careful, being that this is a southpaw versus orthodox matchup, I would anticipate that once Bivol gets his range down and he feels comfortable with the range, I expect a steady diet of right hands becoming Zurdo's way. I expect Zurdo to have to be able to defend the right hand. And I think Julian Chua and their team have prepared for that. I think they're going to be very well prepared for those things, and it's going to be a good fight. Right now, I think Bivol's a 3-1 favorite, and he should be. I mean, I went back and I watched, like I told you, the fights I watched. It's hard for me. It's hard when you put on tape of Bivol to look at him and pick against him, because he's just that damn good. He's just that damn good. But personally, apart from Beterbiev, because I know everybody's going to say Beterbiev, apart from Beterbiev, there was a guy in this weight class that I think could beat him, is Zurdo Ramirez. And I rate Zurdo Ramirez highly. I always have. And I've been rating him higher and higher as his career has progressed, because he's shown maturation in his career, And I do think that this is Bivol's biggest test. And, you know, last year around this time, last December when he fought Unis Gonzalez, I told you guys that, you know, there's been times where I favor Bivol and there's been times where I think it's 50-50, and then I was favoring Zurdo. My head is saying, my logical brain is saying Bivol beats him on points. However, my logical brain is also telling me that Gilberto Ramirez is more than good enough to make Dmitry Bivol have to do something he's never done before, which is use his A game to beat him. Because he's always beat fighters. I don't think he's ever had to use all of his tools to beat a fighter. I think this is the fight where he actually has to use all of his tools to beat a fighter. And I told you guys last December, that basically I'm favoring Zurdo Ramirez beat Bivol. And you know what? I'm sticking with it. Damn it. I'm sticking with it. The defender of Mexican boxing, Zurdo Ramirez. I'm picking him to win, man. I'm picking him to win. I think he's going to do the unthinkable tomorrow.
True School Sports, he's the truth. One of the best YouTube, the best.
Ooh, the number one.
Number one.
Brandon, you've been there, man, and you're building up a good following with us.
Thank you.
And I'm proud to be a part of what you're doing, too. You are spectacular, and
Thank you, man. All the best to True School Boxing, and keep up the good work.